Hello and welcome to the Course Redesign Template course. This course can be used to start building your fully online, web-enhanced, or hybrid course whenever you'd like. You can also copy pieces of this course into other Ultra courses. The purpose of this specific video is to kind of orient you to how you will be adding content to your template course and managing your template course. You'll notice straight off the gate that with Blackboard Ultra, gone is the left-hand nav. So no, you no longer add your content via the nav. Content is added right where it lives in the course content panel. So all we need to do is hover our mouse over where we want to add the content and notice the plus button appears. But we're going to go ahead and take a step back and we're going to look at the overall look. So at the top of the course, you'll notice you have tabs for your content, the course calendar, a quick area to all course discussions, your course gradebook, messages, and analytics. For the purposes of today's video, we will just focus on the course building aspects. Later videos will cover your gradebook and discussion and fun things like that. But this video, which accompanies that template course, has a focus on course building. So that being said, I do want to draw your attention to the student preview area. The student preview, while you're building your course, is a great way to check and see how it's going, because you don't necessarily see your course as your students do until you click on that wonderful student preview. All right, so let's take a look at the course itself. At the top, you'll notice you can have a course image. The template course is pre-built with one. You can change that course image in two ways. You can scroll down to where the course image area is in your control panel, your details and actions, and click on Edit Display Settings. You can also edit the pencil up here on the course image icon for your course. Now, since we're going to be talking about the details and actions area, it does have some important things that you'll want to pay attention to. One, it has your course roster where you can go and see who's in your course. And with the advent of Blackboard Ultra, you're going to note that everything pops out and stays on the page. You never have to leave wherever you are. Something will slide in and slide out for you, which makes it for a more efficient workflow for instructors and for students. In this course, you'll notice that I only have 2 people and 2 of them are students. But note, if your student has updated their profile photo, this is a great place for you to have a visual roster of who is in your course. For those courses that are blended or online, it's even more important that it starts that connection to form between the student and the instructor and student to student. So I'm going to close the roster and move on where you go and create and manage your groups. Shows up right there. The third area down here is progress tracking. Progress tracking is just something that I can turn on that will help my students as they move through my course. As a student progresses through the course, they can check that they've completed something to keep track of where they are in the course so they know how they're doing. Again, the course image, attendance, the attendance tool that we've previously demonstrated in Blackboard, which has nothing to do with any of our specific SHSU tools, just a way for you to mark attendance in Blackboard and keep track of it, is accessed here. Posting announcements is right here as well. So you can come in here and create announcements. All I would need to do is click on the link for the announcement. Notice that Ultra again pops out that window so I can access it. Here I already have an announcement that I can access and edit using the ellipses here, the 3 dots. Note that this has taken the place of the chevron or the upside down, the inverted arrowhead or triangle that we're used to seeing in Blackboard Original. Blackboard Ultra uses that. However, adding in Blackboard is all pretty much the same. Wherever you see that plus button, that is where you can add something. So here's where I could go and create an announcement. So I'm going to close that. A little further down are books and tools. This gets you access to publisher content, as well as any institution tools that we have available. So while it loads, you're going to come through and see I can look at my media gallery. I can add, I can get access to my media gallery. I can get access to Zoom and add these things in different parts of my course, which is kind of nice. LinkedIn Learning can also be found in your tools when you go to add content. So it's a wonderful way for you to get access to those things. And lastly, your question banks that you can add new ones. Those can be imported, obviously, this way. And these are generally files that you get from your publisher. For instance, Test pools we cover in our assessment section, which we aren't doing for today, but we'll get there eventually. So thinking about course content, you'll notice in this case that all the content, the navigation and the content is all in the same space, which makes for a much more efficient workflow for you and your students. For our purposes of the templates course, we leverage two types of content containers. One is the folder, and the second is the learning module. You will find that the learning module has now become your best friend when it comes to displaying content for students for a couple of reasons. First, because you can control how that content is released. It can be released sequentially. It can be released based upon them completing things, or it also helps because it reduces the number of clicks students have to do. You'll note, for instance, in the course information introduction folder, when I click it, it expands, right? And all the content for each of these things shows up here. So for instance, if I wanted to click and access my virtual office discussion forum, it will pop out. And here, my students can come and ask questions. You will see here that two people have posted or have not posted. The two people in the course don't show any posts, but that's okay. I'm not grading. Their posts would show up here, and I could actually access them from this menu as well. So I can even search for participants. The favorite thing that you'll probably notice is that you no longer have to have a separate, like when you add a discussion in old Blackboard, you really added a link to a discussion. In Blackboard Ultra, adding the discussion adds the discussion right where you want it to be. So there is no two separate things you need to edit. Again, efficiency, simplifying the interface, making it easier for you to interact. When we talk about our communication session, one of our webinars that we offer, you'll see how you even have discussion analysis that analyzes critical thinking, word counts, and things like that in their posts. So that an original posting. So that's kind of nice. Anyway, that being said, you'll notice inside a folder, once I click it, it comes out, and the only way I can get to the next thing in my folder is to close it and come down and look at that next thing. So for instance, I could get access to my support desk information, right? But then I would close it. So I would not do that for the majority of your course based upon the amount of opening and closing students would have to do all the time. What we suggest is that you leverage a learning module because it works in a linear fashion for your students. What do I mean by that? Well, for starters, I'm going to click on student preview at the upper right-hand side. So what this does is it starts my student preview of the course. Then when I click on one of these learning modules, you'll see how the ease of navigation for the student, they don't have to bounce in and bounce back and bounce in and bounce back. They start and just step through, right? So here we are in module 1 for the student. They click on it and they get a wonderful description of what's in the module, as well as they can see what's in here. Well, they click on module 1 objectives, for instance, and they're taken there. And instead of just closing the module, they can click on the arrow to step through it and move on to the next things. So they can move on to the second item in our module. You'll notice that it's here. Each of these things will be just clicked upon as I go and move my way through. You'll notice that they have a file they can download, some links, and they would click access to download the file. Here's where also the alternative formats will show up when you attach files in Blackboard. So Ally will still be working in the background as well. That being said, they click through and access every little part of it. In this case, you'll notice there's a journal activity. So I'm going to exit my student preview so that you now know how one of those learning modules works for your students. What I want to focus on now is the how you add content. But before I get there, I want to give you something very special. Down at the bottom of your page, you will see a how to help. This is built in for you. It's hidden from your students. You can remove it when you're done, or you can just leave it there. That's up to you. But were I to click on it, it would open up and you would see how to for Blackboard Ultra. And you'll get access for a lot of the things that I'm talking about in here, but quick access to things like, hey, how do I do that course image, that banner that's there? How do I post an announcement? Oh, there's a quick start guide. What's that? How do I do discussions? How do I grade? And then complete help for Blackboard instructors who use Ultra. So all that stuff is right there for you, right? So this is something that you can lean on as you move through the course. Right. So here is the course content page, the main page for your course. This is the place that all the action happens inside your course. We're going to focus on adding and building, in this case, just showing you where you go to do that, right? So for instance, I am here. If I wanted to add a 4th module or I wanted to add another folder, I could click anywhere. You'll notice that wherever I click in here, underneath these, I can click and add something in between those two things. Right here, between module 2 and module 3, for instance, I can add something in between there, right? So it's very contextual. It's very right where you want it to be. You don't have to click on something to add it. Now, here, if I wanted to add something inside of let's say I need to add something inside my folder. So I'd open up my folder, and lo and behold, I could just put my mouse in, and you'll see where I want that thing to go. I just click the plus button. So gone is Blackboard's original. When you add it, it shows up at the bottom. Remember that? Now we can add our content wherever we want it to be. I want to show you the kind of options you have inside a folder, for instance. So if I am in here, and let's say I want to put something between the syllabus and the virtual office discussion, I would stick my mouse here and click the plus. Blackboard's first little menu pops up. It has the option for you to create, to copy content from other courses, to upload content from like an image or a file, to go to the content market and bring in a Kaltura mashup or a LinkedIn mashup or any one of those normal things that we would add in there, right? Maybe a file that I have in cloud storage with OneDrive or Google Drive or something like that. And then files that I have in my course files that maybe I can add those here as well. I do want to talk to you about the one that you'll be using the most as you build out your course, and that is Create. Create actually gives me choices. It lets me go, okay, what do I want to create here? I want to create a folder, a document, a link, that LTI tool, again, the content tool that we talked about, a SCORM package. SCORM package is essentially a file that you can use, let's say like an Articulate movie or some of the other tools where you can have like a PowerPoint with questions in it, and the students answer those questions and it records their answers and then sends it back to the grade book. That's a SCORM package. Below that is test, assignment, discussion, and journal. I want you to keep in mind something. With the new Ultra, it only allows you to go 2 folders deep. So you can only have a folder within a folder. You cannot have a folder within a folder within a folder. You can only have a folder. This first level folder, the course information, can only have one other folder in it, and that's it. What that does is it simplifies it for that flat structure, again, making it also easier for those people that are coming in on mobile devices, which more and more students are accessing these course materials on their mobile devices. So here you can see how you can put that. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this document, because that's really the foundational element inside your Blackboard courses. When I click on the document, it takes me to this page. Again, the title shows up. I can just start editing it. You know, I could be like course netiquette or netiquette guidelines, right? If that's what I want to call it. On this page, I could do a number of things. I could bring in content. If I wanted to embed a YouTube video or a Vimeo video, I could grab that HTML and stick it there. If I wanted to upload from computer, upload from cloud storage, I could do that too. If there's an image I want to put in there, it would automatically recognize an image and display it as an image, which is kind of nice. In this case, I'm going to click on the add content, and it will open up my text box. And I could start typing out my netiquette guidelines. You know, this is how you need to think about interacting with others in this course, right? And then I could start doing a list. And I'm not going to go into detail of where you find these things, but definitely work through here and you'll find all the tools that you need. And treat others with respect, first guideline, right? And it allows me to come here and work on a list. Now, I can also insert images or do file attachments. I could come in here and again, come in and bring in an LTI item like a mashup for something or cloud storage or a YouTube video, that kind of fun stuff. The image here is if I had a URL for the image, I could add it. If I wanted to add an image itself in this space, I would need to use this attach file button. And so I could click on the attach file button, go to where there's an image. And I could just, you know, just to show you what that looks like, I'm going to do a quick picture of me and throw it in there, right? I'm going to click on open and it will go through its process where it says, hey, I'm going to add this picture. Oh, hey, this picture, it looks like I want to go ahead and display it, right? Because it automatically recognizes it as an image. So I can go photo of Jacob. And I have the option, this file displays right in line when they're looking at it, or I can just make it as an attachment that they have to click on. In this case, I hit save and it pops it in there. So this is a little bit of how you will go in and access and upload and create that document. Remember, that document is that foundational element that I was talking about. And I'm going to come in here. Now you notice I did create it. If I wanted to delete it or move it, I could move it one, or I could take it here and drag it around inside this folder, right? But something you'll find that I think you'll find very efficient is I can actually take this guidelines here and drag it and put it inside one of my other folders. Oh my goodness, I could bring it inside this learning module instead, right? So that's something that I can do that that I couldn't do in previous Blackboard. I couldn't make those kinds of things. So I'm going to go ahead and click my ellipses here and delete it. It's gone. So that being said, this is your template course. Inside it, we've built out things for you to be helpful and beneficial. So in every one of the sections, you'll see some things, some instructor notes in some cases. So in the welcome video that you will have posted here, it's going to replace the one that you see right now. At the bottom, you'll see instructor notes that talk about what these things are and why you might use them, as well as if I were to go to that first learning module. Welcome to your learning module. This actually is an item or a document inside that learning module explaining to you what a learning module it is, a video on how they work, and then more information on learning modules should you need to know more, how to use them, how they work, how to make them sequential, all of those great things. We tried to build this course with you in mind so that when you look at an item, for example, this is the module 1 objectives, comes with an instructor note. It tells you about that document that I just told you about, and it gives you more information on how to access those types of things and add them to your courses. So this is your template course. Please, please, please check out that how to help at the bottom, at the beginning, and it's going to help you get started. Obviously, we're going to work with you too, so feel free to reach out to me or the support desk or to your instructional designer. I hope you've enjoyed this introductory video to your template course, and I hope to see you share the good things you're doing. Have a great day, and we'll talk again soon.